Hello, my name is Christy, and I am a community chef with United Way of New York City. And I'm here today to share a recipe for mashed turnips, which I think is delicious, and I'm hoping you will enjoy. We're going to be giving you the recipe so you can make it at home. And let me tell you what is going to be in it. We're going to be using onion, just a regular onion. This I think is a Vidalia sweet onion. We're going to be using garlic. And we're going to be using the purple-topped turnips. And these are really interchangeable with potatoes, but actually have less carbohydrates and are very interesting flavor and smell to them that's very different, but they make a nice combination with potatoes. I also have some carrots here because I often will cook the carrots with this recipe and mash them up too, and that's really delicious. So we're also going to be using about 1/4 cup or even less of low-fat milk, and then we're going to be using just about a tablespoon of butter, which is just about this much, and you can see on the outside of this, it shows you where that tablespoon is. And then I happen to have some pepper jack cheese that's a nice addition, or any other cheese works very well, or none. I often don't make it with any dairy products. I make it with olive oil and then just the seasonings, the salt and the pepper and the red pepper flakes that I'm going to put in, and that's really yummy too. You can also, of course, use a non-dairy milk if you wish, and that works very, very well in addition. So let me tell you how I got started and show you what I did. So I'm boiling my water, and I put in probably about a cup and a half of water, cup of water probably, and I'm just letting that boil. And I'm going to be steaming my turnips, which you see I've already got some cut here in the steamer basket, but you certainly don't need this. You can just boil it, and that works very well too. And I am going to peel these turnips, even though I don't normally peel things because I like that extra nutrients and fiber that is in the peel. But with these fall vegetables, these root vegetables, the peel can be a little tough. So it might be one that you want to peel. So I'm just using a regular peeler, but you can certainly use a knife. And I'm making sure that it's very stable on the table. So if I put it, this way, it's very stable. I actually cut off the top of this already, so it's stable both ways. But just make sure that you have it in a position where you can hold on to it. And then I always put my fingers in the bear claw, so I just tip the tips down instead of having them out, and that sort of protects them. So I'm just, I can just peel it right from the table like this and get just a nice, easy peel. I might have to turn it over or hold it and do the do the bottom. So however you like to do it, and it comes off very nicely. This, by the way, will make a nice vegetable broth. If you take all your scraps and boil them in water, you can make a nice homemade vegetable broth, which gives a lot of your food nice flavor. So then let me just finish peeling this quickly, or at least half of it, and I'll show you how I got to this piece here. So I'm going to just take it and cut it in half. And then I'm just going to cut that little end off. And I can just finish getting that piece of peel off. And this doesn't have to be perfectly all the way off because it's going to be delicious. And then I have my 2 halves, and I'm going to cut that again. And then I'm going to cut it a couple more times just to make it small enough so that it will cook quickly and I don't have to wait too long for it to cook. And of course, the smaller you do it, the faster it'll cook, right? So, okay, so I'm going to just get the rest of this done really fast. And doesn't matter what these look like because they're going to get mashed up, so they don't have to be pretty. All right. So the onion I did the same way, basically. I just took the whole onion, cut it in half, peeled it, and then I'm just going to cut it into rough chunks. Again, doesn't have to be pretty. We're going to be steaming them all together and then mashing it. The garlic, I have a great trick that somebody showed me with the garlic that I love that really changed my life. You take the flat of your knife and face the blade away from you and just give it 1 good pound, maybe 2. And it should break that paper off, the skin, very nicely. without it all having to get off little bitty pieces of it. And then I usually cut that little end off that was attached to the plant. And if there's any other little imperfection, I take that out. And then I just slice it again pretty roughly because it's all going to get steamed in with the turnips, and it's not going to matter, right, how it looks. Okay, so let's get it going. And then when we come back, I'm going to show you how I mash it and add the low-fat milk and butter and low-fat cheese. All right, so we've got all of our turnips in here, and it's going to take probably about 20 to 25 minutes. And we'll come and check it at that time. So we're going to put all of our onion in. I have a little bit of extra onion that I cut before we got here today. All right, and then I'm going to put all of our garlic in. And if I was going to use carrots today, I would be putting the carrots in right now as well. All right, so I'm going to put a tight-fitting lid on it. And again, if you don't have a lid for your pot, you could use some aluminum foil, or if you have a heat-resistant plate, you can use that. Like I have one that I can put in the oven, then you can use that to close it, because you do want it to be on tight. And it's going to be on a medium to high heat, probably a high heat. And you do want to pay a little attention to it to make sure that your water hasn't boiled away. All right, see you back here in about 20 minutes. So we are back, and I think these are going to be ready. Let's take a look. We want them to be basically fork tender or almost falling apart, right? So they'll be easier to mash. Oh yeah, I think these are pretty good. And I did end up cooking them a little bit longer, probably about another 5 or 10 minutes. So probably about 30 minutes altogether. Let me just show you what it looks like. And I'm going to take this out and put them into our bowl, and then I'll mash them. The smell is really nice because I can smell the onion and the garlic and the turnips. It smells really delicious. A little steam bath while I'm at it. All right. Turn this off. And, you know, if your milk and other dairy products, butter, isn't warm, you may want to heat them if you're able to, or you may want to bring the whole thing back to the pan on a low heat to get it to heat up again. So you might also see the greens on these. There's also another type of turnip that I see sometimes. I just saw yesterday at the market, actually. And it's called a sweet salad turnip, or a Japanese turnip. And it looks almost like a radish, and it's got really nice greens attached to it, but so do these purple tops. So that's always good, a good thing. You can cook or eat raw, mix in with other greens. All right, so this is coming out nicely. And this is a personal choice how much you're going to mash something, right? And you can also, by the way, use a fork or the back of a spoon if you don't have a masher. But some people like things super creamy, so that's going to take you a little longer to achieve. And some of us, like me, I like things to have a little bit more texture, so I don't mind them being not quite as smooth. All right. And our onions and garlic are just falling apart and getting mashed right up into this. So this looks pretty good to me, pretty nicely mashed up. I'm going to add my milk. And I'm going to not add all of it at once, just because I may not really need all of it. I think that's going to be about enough, and I didn't even really probably use even half of that. I'm going to get the piece of butter that I have here, which is just 1 tablespoon. And then I'm just going to mash that into it. And then we'll put the seasonings and it's ready to go. If you're going to store these, you're going to want to just keep them in a bag in the fridge and not wash them until you're ready to use them. And with the greens, you're going to want to wrap those in a damp paper towel. And they should last a good, nice couple of days. All right. This is really smelling so good. Earthy. Oh, I'm going to put some of my cheese in. And again, I don't even know if I'm going to need all of it. Oh yeah, it really mashes up nicely once you put some liquid into it. And then a little salt. Again, that's a very personal choice. Some pepper. This is a grinder, so I'm just turning it upside down. Yeah, I like that fresh pepper grinder. And then just a little bit of the red pepper flakes. So here is our dish. And by the way, you can do this with cauliflower too. That's another great one to use with this preparation. All right, I'm going to taste it now and try to describe it to you guys. Let me mix it up. I forgot to mix it up after I put the seasonings in. All right. I think that is so delicious. It just has a little bit of a peppery tang, and it's just something about it. It's hard to describe the flavor because it's very unusual, but it's also familiar because the mashed flavor and texture is very familiar. But then that interesting, unique flavor of the turnip is just wonderful. So it's a great side dish, as I said before, or to use interchangeably with potatoes, right? You can roast, broil, bake, however you want to make these. All right, this has been fun. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Stay well. Bye.